Welcome back to another video. Here's what we're doing today. See, I get asked all the time, well, you're always testing Autopilot, but how often do you actually use it? Like, what is a real Tesla owner, driver who has auto steer in their car, not even full self-drive necessarily, but just, has the Autopilot, how often do you actually use it on a regular drive? What impact, what difference is it actually making in your life right now with the current version? By the way, right now that version is 2020.48.35.5. That's the version we're on right now. So what we're gonna do in this video today is we're gonna go on a drive. I got a vacuum in the back here. You can't maybe see it, but I gotta take it in to get serviced, and it's about a 40-minute drive. Obviously, we're not gonna go through all that, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through different situations where people drive, and I'm gonna show you kind of when you actually use Autopilot right now and when it's more of a kind of a gimmicky thing, when it's just kind of like you do it for fun more than you actually is making a difference and helping you. So right now you can see that we are actually driving through a main arterial down here through an area called Covington. And is this a place you would normally use Autopilot? No. Okay, right now Autopilot doesn't do a whole lot. You can do it, and it's about, for me, it's about 50-50. But I would guess that the average person is not using Autopilot driving through the city right here. You got cars coming in and out of your lane as they're turning into stores or cutting across to, make a turn of some sort. But you can put it on and it will still be fine. As long as there's a car ahead of you, you'll still go through the lights. It will do its job. It will handle what it's supposed to do okay through here. It's not necessarily adding anything to your driving experience. Now I hear people say, well, yeah, but if you're gonna check your map, or if you're gonna, check your phone or something, you throw it on real quick to keep you safe. That's true, but I'm certainly not promoting doing something like that while you're driving. And that's the thing too to remember about Autopilot is it becomes really, really convenient when you've got to do something as simple even as taking this pop can. I want to open this pop can up and maybe an intersection like this or in a main arterial like this. And yeah, maybe there's nothing really dangerous here, but what I can do is just put it on Autopilot like this, open it real quick, and it does. It takes a little bit of that danger factor off just because the car is in control of it. Now, obviously, you would not want to do texting or anything like that, while you're driving on Autopilot. It's not designed yet. That's level 5 autonomy. Right now, we're on level 3, and not even a very stable level 3. So, you want to make sure that you're not doing stuff like that. And then right away you run into your limitation. I got to make a turn right now, and I can't do that because we are not on the beta. So, what about on an on-ramp like this? Turning it on an on-ramp, would you normally use it? You can. I'll put it on for you here, and you can see that it will see all the other cars, and you'll be able to see everything going on around you, and it will merge you in nicely and safely. That's one good thing about it is when you're going on an on-ramp, whether it's on-ramp or off-ramp, anytime you got multiple cars merging together, it is a very good time to turn on Autopilot because it's going to see everything all the way around you. It's going to be looking behind you, beside you, looking for cars that are jetting over too quickly. It's going to pick up on everything because of all of its sensors, because of all of its cameras. So right now it's going to find me a nice way to merge in here. There's no cars around me, so it merges in nice and easy. So I normally do put the Autopilot on when I'm getting onto an on-ramp, and then obviously now that we are on the freeway, definitely going to leave it on the freeway, and it just gives us a lot of control. It lets us just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride, just keeping your hand nicely right here on the wheel. The car is going to do the rest of this. So on the freeway, highways, anything of that nature, it works extremely well. Now you notice that I do not have one line here because I'm not navigating anywhere. There's no destination on my screen. So another time I use Autopilot is when I want to change lanes. This guy's going too slow, so I'm going to hit the blinker. And then you watch, the car will look, it'll find a spot, and it's gonna pull us right on in there. Let me turn my screen so it's more squared towards you guys. And so when I'm changing lanes, it's something I often do. I'm gonna adjust the speed up here to 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. And now what I'll be watching for is a chance to get back out of the fast lane. Now, my car will, and we'll show you that in a minute, get out of the fast lane on its own. But not right now. Right now it's just regular auto steer. So anybody who owns a Tesla can do what I'm doing right now, and that's get in and out. Now let's say I needed to take this exit coming up here, and I needed to get over, and there's cars all around me. So if I'm like, oh shoot, I need to get over right now, I can hit the blinker and watch. It'll slow down, it'll find a spot that's doing this all on its own. Look at that, and then it's going to force its way right on over here and get right between me and this motorhome right there. And that guy, was pretty close to me, but the car found its way in. So if you're trying to change lanes, and you're a little unsure, there's cars all around you, things like that, where am I supposed to go? That is one great way to do it, is to tell the car to do it while it's on autopilot. Now I'm gonna get out of this guy's hair here now that I cut him off. Sorry. So for this next part, where it's used all the time is when you're actually navigating. So right now I'm on my destination, as you guys know, to take my vacuum in. So what I can do is I have my calendar programmed and synced to my car. So I've got some stuff on my calendar today. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to my next destination. You can see there's an address programmed in there. So all I gotta do is tap that arrow, and then it's going to navigate me now to the, now watch what happens to this blue lines, the two blue lines here. See how it turns into one? Now the car is in control. This is another time that is really great to have autopilot running, is when you've got a destination it needs to go to. And so the first thing we're gonna be doing here is merging onto a main freeway here, and it says in 4 miles. So you can see it's made the lane change. All I gotta do is put my hand, put a little pressure on the wheel like I did, and now the car is completely in control. It's changing the lane for me into a nice safe spot, and we're good to go there. And so what's gonna happen is in 3.7 miles, it's gonna automatically merge me onto another freeway, and I shouldn't have to do anything to make that happen. This is the beauty of autopilot. It's in control, it's doing its own thing, and what on earth is behind me? All right, check this out. This thing's about to pass me. Whoa, look at that thing. That is so cool. I want one. So here's where you have to sometimes interfere a little bit with autopilot. See, we were 1.1 miles away from my exit, and because the car was going too slow, it got me over when normally you wouldn't. You would not, 1 mile from your exit, get out of the exit lane. That just doesn't make any sense unless you're behind a really slow vehicle or something. But these are only going maybe 3 miles an hour slower than I need to go. So you can see here right now that I need to change lanes, and it notices that red car there, and it's gonna put me here right between these two. This white car, I think this is the second time I've cut in front of him. No, different time. Put me right in there. It does it very good, but sometimes you may find yourself going, no, I'm not gonna let that happen, and you kind of fight it and kick it out of autopilot so it doesn't change lanes 1.1 miles away from your exit. So now here it's taking that exit, no problem. So it's going to keep me in the exact lane I need to be in. It says that these left 2 lanes are okay to take the exit, which is not entirely true. They do both take the exit, but the one on the center lane there that you're seeing does split off. So we need to stay in the lane that we're actually in, the far left lane. Okay, now we are in a 50 miles an hour suggested speed, and we're going 65. This road can handle 65 no problem, and the car certainly can, but it's not going to slow down for it. So we are going 1 under the speed limit, but the only way you're going to actually slow down on something like this is if the cars in front of you slow down. Like right now we're slowing because that Toyota in front of us is also slowing down. But again, it's taking this merge 100% on its own. It's got me in the right lane. It didn't put me over here in this lane. It could have, someone else could have easily found themselves in that lane, but autopilot didn't put me there. And now we're going to be heading into another merge situation. So my hand is on the wheel because it's going to tell me to change lanes. I'm not in any way helping the car. And if you're new to this, if I did help it, if I jerked the wheel, put more than just a tiny bit of pressure on the wheel, and this is good. See how it's actually doing an actual turn right now onto the freeway? It turned the blinker on and it merged me over. They did that because when I came onto the freeway, there was enough dotted line, and I was on the freeway long enough before it made these 2 lines come in together, the 2 lanes come in together, because it was long enough. Sometimes though, when you come onto the freeway, it's very instant and there's not enough, you're not really actually on the freeway going straight for, 100 feet or so. And so the car just sort of thinks it's a big wide lane and just kind of centers itself between your on-ramp and the lane you're turning into, and it won't turn on the blinker. So if you're one of these people that, follows the law to a T and they want to make sure when they merge on, they have their blinker on, then you're going to want to turn the blinker on yourself or just take over in that situation. For example, that initial on-ramp where we got on Highway 18 back there 2 freeways ago, it didn't turn on the blinker, but this one it did. So it's something that's to be aware of when you're saying, well, what does it do now versus not? And so anyway, now we're on a very big freeway, no traffic to speak of. I'm just going to let the car just chill in this lane until it decides otherwise. But this right here, you're seeing the beauty of autopilot in its greatest right now. I mean, being able to now sit back and let the car, this is like, there's nothing fancy about driving right now. Like I often hear people say, well, I don't want autopilot because I want to drive. I like to drive. What about this do you like to drive? think about it, we're just sitting on an open road. So this is where Autopilot's great, because all you got to do is every once in a while when it tells you, put a little pressure on the wheel, and it's going to take off. You know, you keep it going, and it's just great. So right now we got a motorcycle coming up on the left side of us, and this is what used to make me nervous. Look at this. See this motorcycle? This is how sensitive the car is there. It was still able to detect that, even though that motorcycle was tiny. I mean, when I saw that coming in the mirror, I got nervous. I mean, you can still see it way up there. I got nervous because I was like, what? Like, are we going to actually, like, see this guy? I mean, the car could easily turn and hit it. But again, that's the beauty of cameras. I mean, how many times have we heard stories about people hating motorcyclists because you can't see them. They're harder to see. But it did it, and it did a great job of it. And you can see now that the car is working its way over. It's decided twice not to actually go, and then it finally, now the third time, actually went, getting ready for this exit. I was in the far left lane, and it doesn't just get over multiple lanes at once. Instead, it goes one lane for, it feels like, maybe a quarter mile, and then goes again another, and it does it in a very smooth way. You don't feel like you're being jerked around, and it's really great. So we're running it on the freeway like this. It just makes your drive so incredible. I mean, if you got an audiobook on, listen to some music, it just makes the drive so relaxing. Long drives that you're like, oh man, I just don't want to take this. It's a long ways away. Like this was a 40-mile drive. You know, it just is no big deal anymore. Autopilot's amazing. Having that full side drive package is amazing. The navigating Autopilot, it just works. It's just really great on the freeways and intersections. So right now we're getting ready to actually take a merge. We're actually in the turn lane, so it's got us in the right lane where you need to be in. And eventually you're going to see it up here, going to tell me to take back control again. So you'll see that happen as soon as I take this exit, and you'll see up on here, it's going to give a gray line telling me to get over. And we're going to see that as soon as we actually take officially this exit and start angling away. And there's the gray line, and the car hasn't stopped slowing yet, but it will. So here's the exit, and now it says apply some force on the steering wheel. There we go. And it should have us take a right here as well. One more time. There we go. And now it says 300 feet to take control. 200 feet, 75, and boom, there we go. It's now giving me back control of the car. It's still going to turn for me because we're in regular auto steer, but it's now mine to take control of. So there's 3 instances or multiple instances there of where I use it. And, you know, I think most drivers probably are similar to that most of the time it's being used on freeways and intersections and highways right now. Main arterials sometimes, but that would be the more rare case. But it is wonderful, it is incredible, it is useful, and it's not a gimmicky thing. It's not something that's just kind of like some people tell me, so far from being useful. No, I use it all the time, and I have for 15 months. It's very convenient, it works really well. Just make sure you use it within the expectations of what it is supposed to do right now, and you will feel the same way. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to catch more of our videos here on this channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.